So Rabbi, we will find out the code. I don't need to worry this whole time.
Yeah, we'll try to. We'll get it going. All right. So Be'ezrat Hashem, next Wednesday, is it recording? Yeah. Next Wednesday is Ta'anit Esther. Okay. The reason for Ta'anit Esther is like it says in the Megillah, Nikhalu, like it was a Yom Hakel, Yom that everyone gathered. It's a remembrance of when Esther Malka made a decree that everyone should fast. Betsumu alai sheloshet yamim, that everyone should fast for 3 days, and so that was in the month of Nisan. We can't fast in the month of Nisan. So as a commemoration of what took place then, we do fast on the eve of Purim. And that's one of the reasons. There are many other reasons for it. One of the, Kabbalistically they say, because Purim is at such high spiritual level, we need to fast before Purim begins so that the intensity of Purim will take its effect. That's how important Purim is. Purim, as you know. What do we say? We say we have Yom HaKippurim. Yom HaKippurim is Ke-Purim, is like Purim. That means Purim is even higher level of Yom Kippur. A Yom Kippur person could attain great heights, but that's through fasting and praying and everything. Yom Kippur, but Purim, you do it through joy and happiness. Purim, you achieve those heights through joy and happiness. And like it says in Sefer HaKuzari, right? It's not about crying and fasting. Judaism is not about that. It's about attaining that closeness to Hashem through joy and happiness, that inner happiness that a person could achieve. And Purim has that power, has that electricity that could give us that jolt to be able to get so close to Hashem through joy, happiness, eating, drinking, and everything that we do on Purim, and to understand the miracles that Hashem did for us and saved us, and how much He loves us. That's how we attain that. And in order to achieve that, there is a fast right before it. Okay, so that's the next Wednesday. Be'ezrat Hashem is a fast. It is an easier fast. Someone who just has a little weakness is patur, is exempt from the fasting. Ladies who are pregnant or are nursing, that means they are within 24 hours of after birth, or once they know that it's 3 months into their pregnancy, they are patur, they're exempt from fasting. If they know for sure they're going to be perfectly fine and have experience in fasting, then they could fast, but otherwise they are exempt.
The 2 years thing doesn't apply to this fast.
It does. You mean for 2 years that they're exempt? Yeah, this is an easy fast for sure. 2 years after birth is considered yoledet, and they are exempt. If a person wakes up in the middle of the night and they usually drink, right? So they could drink. But if they don't usually drink in the middle of the night, then they shouldn't drink, because once you go to sleep, then it's sort of you have accepted the fast. But it all depends. If normally a person wakes up in the middle of the night and drinks, then they could drink now too. A person is allowed to take a shower and wash their face. If a person it's better not to wash one's mouth. But someone who is used to it, it's very hard for the person not to brush their teeth in the morning. They could go ahead and do it. Just be extra careful not to swallow the toothpaste, and the water. Mishnah Berurah brings the thing that a person should hold their head down, this way you make sure nothing goes, nothing gets swallowed. Can a person chew gum on a fast day?
No.
If it has sweetness, if it has a taste, no. If it has no taste, then yeah. I guess it was a chewed up already gum. If a person has to take pills, they could, without water, right? But if they need water in order to get it down, the smallest amount of water that they could use, they should use, and if they do that, they shouldn't think, oh, I broke my fast, I can't continue fasting. Taking pills does not break your fast. If the medication, if it's a medication that's needed, then there's no question that a person should take it. But if it's a pill, like a vitamin, no problem. You can still take that without water though. But if it's something that has sweetness, some flavoring and stuff, it's better to be machmir, not to take it on this day. Okay, that's as far as the fast is concerned. Then we have another thing which is called zecher lemachatzit hashekel. What is zecher? Zecher lemachatzit hashekel. When we had the Beit Hamikdash, every person would participate in the offerings that they would bring in the Beit Hamikdash. How do we do that? By giving a machatzit hashekel. Machatzit hashekel was a coin. It was 10, nowadays it's 10 grams of silver. Right? That was the coin that they had back then. Some families, they have a family heirloom. They have this coin still from the time of the Beit Hamikdash, the machatzit hashekel coin. But so that's what they would give. So there's a lot of laws about it, like how it would be dispersed, how they would use it. But mainly it would be used for the offerings that they would bring in the Beit Hamikdash daily, 2 of them, every single day, and on Shabbat, and on Rosh Chodesh, and on the holidays, and so on and so forth. And this is how we would take part. We would participate in those offerings. We would have a part in it. Nowadays, once the Beit Hamikdash is destroyed, we don't have that. But Chachamim, they set it aside. They set up this dictum, rabbinic dictum, that a person should still give zecher lemachatzit hashekel, is a remembrance of machatzit hashekel. Imagine, Be'ezrat Hashem Beit Hamikdash is going to be built soon, and they're going to come to you. Mashiach is going to say, "Everybody, cough up the machatzit hashekel." And we say, "What is that? What are you talking about? These rabbis, they all want to take money, But once they instituted, continue this remembrance, this zecher lemachatzit hashekel, it is in the Torah, Parashat Ki Tisa. We read it 2 weeks ago on Shabbat, right before Rosh Chodesh Adar, and then we're not going to come and say hey, what is this money for? We're all used to giving this, and that is what this is. The normal time to do this at the time of the Beit Hamikdash was the month of Adar, right? Because the beginning of the month of Nisan, that would be the cutoff time. After that, already you could not give machatzit hashekel anymore. That was the cutoff. So because of that, this is the month now that we give zecher lemachatzit hashekel. Usually it's for people that are above, for men above above 13, and for girls above 12. But usually parents give for every single one of the children. This year I think they said that the price of silver went down. So, it's I think they said $6 for 10 grams of silver. Okay, so that's that. Next thing we have to know is this Shabbat is called Shabbat Parashat Zachor. What does that mean? Normally, every Shabbat we take the Sefer Torah out and we read it in the Beit Knesset, right? Every Shabbat. Who made that up? Who is that from? It's a rabbinic dictum. Who is the rabbi that made it? Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not written in the Torah that we should do it. Moshe Rabbeinu, back then when they were in the desert, he made this and said, we should take the Sefer Torah out. All the Jews get together and read from it on Shabbat, so that otherwise the Sefer Torah is going to be put in the Aron and nobody's going to touch it. So in order to do that, he set this up that we should go ahead and read from the Torah every Shabbat. One Torah reading is required by the Torah. That is this, Zachor. Reading Parashat Zachor, in which Hashem commands us to remember what Amalek did to us when we left Egypt. He was the first nation ever to attack the Jewish nation for no reason whatsoever, just out of his hatred, Amalek's hatred for anything that's holy. And that is why Hashem so much wants us to remember this and not to ever forget it. And that's why this is a biblical command from the Torah that we should read this portion of the Torah. This portion of the Torah is not from now, it's at the end of Parashat Ki Tetzeh. We read it anyways in the month of Elul. However, Chachamim set it up after the miracle of Purim happened. Chachamim set it up that we should read it the Shabbat before Purim. And that's what we have. This coming Shabbat, the Ezrat Hashem, is going to be Parashat Zachor. It is proper, it is better for women also to come and hear it. really there is a big argument. Should women come? Should women not come? Why is that? Because Parashat Zachor is about remembering and trying to eradicate and erase the name of Amalek. Who goes out to war? Usually men go out to war, right? So therefore it's on them. That is the opinion of all those that are saying, listen, women are not at all obligated, and that is, the Maran Shulchan Aruch also writes that. However, it's a good thing to come in order to appease or to be yotzeh, even according to those other poskim that say that ladies should also hear it. Otherwise, we don't have to. We could rely on those opinions that say that ladies do not have to listen to Parashat Zachor. If someone is stuck, someone is like with the kids and whatever for whatever reason cannot come, they shouldn't drive themselves crazy and up the wall to make it. Usually in most shuls before mincha, again they take the Sefer Torah out. They're allowed to do that before mincha, and they read, just playing without a baracha, these 3 pesukim of Parashat Zachor, so the ladies that couldn't come in the morning, they could try to catch it in the afternoon. In LA, the Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of different shuls, there's a lot of different places where they read it, so different timing, and it could be done. Right? Next is Wednesday night. Wednesday night is the night of Purim. We're still fasting, right? So everybody's in a rush to break the fast. So let's see. It is the mitzvah of it's a rabbinic mitzvah, right? To go ahead and read the Megillah on Purim, right? The time to read the Megillah of the night is the whole night. That means 2 o'clock in the morning, someone was traveling, let's say, there's a show this coming week in Vegas. So there's a whole bunch of people. They told me they're going to arrive maybe 1 o'clock at night. I said, Rabbi, is it okay if we ask you to read the Megillah then? And I said, yeah, just call me. We've had this before. So it's really the whole night. The person could if they miss it in the beginning of the night, they have the whole night to hear it. And the Megillah reading of the day is also the whole day. Okay, if someone missed it and it's Shekiah already, right? Let's say it's quarter, I don't know what time is Shekiah, I think it's 10 to 6, let's say. And they could still read it after Shekiah, but no beracha. Right? Once it's Shekiah already, you could read it, but you cannot make a beracha.
When are they going to have the Megillah reading times posted?
Probably by this Shabbat they should have it up. They usually read it 3 times here, at night and 5 times in the day. If I'm not mistaken.
They're gonna email it also?
Probably call will email it. I'm assuming. We should, yeah. Good reminder. Okay. So that's that.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you don't hear the Megillah, can you still open your fast?
Yes, of course.
It's not depending on...
Opening the fast also, it's not, once the day finished, and a person is feeling very weak, they want to eat a cookie or fruit, that's fine. Eating bread before reading the Megillah, that's a bigger problem. So a person is very weak. Most people, when they're fasting, they fall asleep. So what's better, fall asleep and not hear the Megillah, or open the fast? Definitely open the fast, because you have to be yotzeh with the Megillah. Now, ladies are obligated to hear the Megillah just like men, right? That means if they have an obligation, they could also be motzi others. That means a lady could read the Megillah for men. This is Sephardi. Ashkenazim do not agree, but according to the Sephardi poskim, a lady, let's say in a settlement in Israel, they're all pisavot. They don't know how to read. They're farmers. They don't know. And Baruch Hashem, one of them sent his daughter to Bet Yaakov, and she knows how to read the Megillah. She comes in, and they're all, what are we going to do? She says, I can read for you. She could. Halachically, she could get up there and read, but it's a disgrace for the men. Come on, what is this? However, that's how it is. According to Maran, women could be motzi, could go ahead and read for men, and they could be yotzeh. But obviously, you want to be machmir, those opinions that are saying no, it's they shouldn't do it unless they're stuck. Like I told you, in that case, then they could go ahead and do it. Now, it is a good custom to bring the children to hear the Megillah. However, you have to make sure that they're not going to bother. Imagine they start making noise, mommy, in the middle of reading the Megillah, and people can't hear a couple of words, they're not yotzeh. They didn't do the mitzvah of hearing the Megillah. What are they gonna do? It's a big problem. So a person has to see if the children will be able to keep quiet. Fine. If not, then go to a different minyan. That's what most people do. Reading the Megillah at night, we say 3 barachot, right? The first one is Al Mikra Megillah. The second one is Sha'asa Nisim La'avotinu B'yomim B'zaman Hazeh. Then we say Shehechianu also. This Shehechianu, us Sefaradim do not make it during the day, only at night. Ashkenazim make it Shehechianu during the day as well. But we only make it at night, and this Shehechianu goes on everything. That means it goes on the reading of the Megillah, on all the mitzvot that we do on Purim, which we're going to say about giving Mishlach Manot, Matanot La'evyanim, and the Seudah of Purim, and the Megillah of the day, right? The Shechianu was only made, the Chachamim said that we should say it on the Mikra Megillah, right? But not on the other mitzvot. Let's say someone doesn't have a Megillah. He says, look, I didn't hear Shechianu on Purim. Can I make a Shechianu when I'm giving Matanot La'evyanim or Mishlach Manot? He said, no. Chachamim only made it on reading the Megillah, and that's it. That's when you do it, and it goes on everything. After the Megillah reading is finished, what they do is they roll the Megillah back up. It's not kavod, it's not respectful to read the Megillah, to say the beracha, the end beracha of Megillah, while the Megillah is wide open. You roll it, and then they say the last beracha of reading Megillah, Ha'el Haravet Livenu. This beracha is only said if you have 10 people, right? If you don't have 10 people, then you cannot make the last beracha. So sometimes, or many times, ladies, they can't go to shul in the morning or for whatever reason at night, so they go and hear the Megillah, let's say in someone's home. And over there's only 4, 5, 6 ladies. Over there, you cannot make the last beracha unless there is a minyan of women. If you have 10 women, that's also fine. That works, you could make the last beracha. And this, there is a lot of argument. Some people say yes, some people say no. Rav Ovadia says you could. If you have 10 ladies present, you could go ahead and make the last beracha as well. Okay, so someone who already made the beracha and the Megillah and read the Megillah already, now he goes home and wants to read the Megillah for his wife, he could still make the 3 first barachot all over again. He doesn't have to say, I made the barachot already, you guys say the barachot and I'll read. He doesn't have to do that. He could make the barachot and it's not a problem. Okay, so we mentioned whether at night, whether during the day, the person should not eat bread before reading, hearing the Megillah.
Even women?
Even women, right? Bread. But if you want to eat fruit, you want to eat rice, you want to eat meat.
But what if you're not fasting? If you're pregnant, I'm not
Yeah.
fast.
You're not supposed to fast, right? We just mentioned.
You could eat.
You could eat for sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Aren't men and women, like husband and wife, considered one neshama? So can't we be yotzei our husband to hear?
You know what? Let him eat also. And you don't eat. You want the show. No, that won't work.
That's right.
For the beracha of Megillah, we stand up, right? We usually stand up, even if the person is just reading for ladies. Usually ask them, please, congregation, rise for the benediction of the thing, and then everybody could sit down, and even the reader could sit. But in a tzibur, when you're reading the Megillah in a tzibur for a whole community, then the reader, it would be respectful that he should be standing up. Now, this is the important thing. Sometimes it happens. You see people walk in, they've started the Megillah, they missed few words even. Sorry, no can do. It's not going to work. You have to hear from the beginning to the end. You can't say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to hear the rest of it, and then I'm going to go next door and hear that beginning few sentences that I missed. It won't work. It has to be all in order, like, one after the other. If someone snoozed in the middle, like, he just found out, where were we? That's also, if he didn't hear it, he's not yotzeh. Sometimes you're snoozing, but you still hear it. Fine, catch up. You could read and catch up. That's even though you don't have a Megillah which is kosher, you have a chumash in your hand, or you have a paper with the Megillah written on it. and you missed it, you spaced out, let's say. You just spaced out for like a sentence or two, for one pasuk or two. Read, catch up to the person that's reading you from a Megillah, which is kasher, and you're fine. Right? So that's that. As far as this year's,
When you're reading, how can you hear what he's saying now?
well, you catch up. That's the point. You're right.
How can you
won't
catch
hear-
up when he's continuing?
You better read fast.
What if you missed the brachot, but you heard
can't-
from the first word?
That's fine. Berachot are not ma'akev. Berachot don't hold you back. You've done the mitzvah of listening from Vayhi b'ma Achashverosh from the beginning, you're good. Right? As long as you hear from the beginning to the end, you've done the mitzvah, it is fine. I remember years ago in yeshiva, person that would read the Megillah was amazing, incredible. So he would read it. Happened to be one of the guys who recorded it that year. Okay, so we were after the Megillah reading, that's a big party, everybody's getting drunk, I don't know what it was. Suddenly they made an announcement, one word was missing. The person was listening to the reading, happens to be listening to the reading, one word was missing. And he took it to the rabbi that read it, he heard it, he goes, yes, you're right. So they called everybody, and the guys were drunk. So it was like, we made so many different minyanim that year to hear it. I think it was like, the last one was like 4 o'clock in the morning. This guy sobered up, and one of the guys stayed up for them to read them the Megillah.
Nice.
It was like amazing. Then we heard 2 other yeshivot, that same night, they also were missing that same word. It was like, oh, spooky, oh, Mashiach is coming, Mashiach is coming. Yeah. So that was...
You can't hear it through a speaker, right?
Oh, very good question.
Microphone.
Yes, you could.
Oh, you
if
can?
you could have heard it without the microphone as well, it's just that the microphone is raising the sound. But if I'll tell you a personal example. When we lived in Eretz Israel, I used to go every single Purim, night and day, to hear the Megillah from Rav Ovadia. That was like my thing. I used to go every year. Every year I used to go for night and day to Rav Ovadia. So in the beginning it was easier. It was a smaller place. Back when it was in Rehavia, long, maybe 25 years ago. Then when they moved to Har Nof, we were reading Yechabadat. Yechabadat was big. So Rav Ovadia made an announcement. He said, we tested. I was reading it. I tested. Everyone could hear it without the microphone. That was big. With my voice, except for you guys that are standing by the doorway. You guys cannot hear it. Either come in or go to a different minyan. He always, like, so everybody was like squishing, like, who wants to miss him reading? He would use a microphone, but that was the point. I made sure standing right in front of it, so that was different. So that's the story. Okay, that's as far as reading the Megillah. Now, the custom is, on Purim, it's a Yom Tov, so we should dress Yom Tov clothing, right? And it's better to be machmir, not to do extra melacha that you don't need to, right? A person says, oh man, I'm going to, do laundry. If you don't need to do laundry, not to do it. It's better. But remember, this year is going to be on Thursday, so it's a little bit, it's different. But let's say someone says, oh, my nails are too long, I'm going to cut them. Or these sort of things. It is allowed. It is allowed to cut nails, and that's not a problem. Now, there are other mitzvot to do on Purim. One is called Mishloach Manot. Ashkenazim call it Shalach Manos, right? It's the same thing. Mishloach Manot, like it says in the Megillah, that they do Mishloach. Mishloach means to send. Manot means cooked meals, right? So every person should have 2 cooked meals, right, to send to one person. Okay? What is the reason for this? To add friendship, right? And also, another reason is people that don't have food. Like, there are people that actually don't have food, and by you giving them this food, they have what to eat on Purim. These are the reasons. Now, what if the food is not cooked, right? Raw chicken. Person sends a raw chicken, you're not yotzeh. It has to be cooked, right? The food has to be cooked. And it has to be better that it's 2 different types, right? And it's better that it should be in 2 different vessels, like a bottle of wine, and cookies. That's it. You're good.
What apple is not cooked? That's not considered.
Apple, that's how you eat it. You're not gonna,
Oh.
that's edible. Fruit is fine. Like even if you send 2 cans of Coke, you Yotzeh. It's 2 separate kelim, 2 separate vessels. It's fine. You Yotzeh with that also. What if you sent it and you left it there and it was stolen or it got lost? You're not Yotzeh because the person has to get it. If he doesn't get it, then we didn't do the mitzvah.
The
Right?
ones you leave behind people's doors, like if they're not home.
Yeah, it's a lot of times these people come after Purim. Yeah, but remember, just give it to one person. To one person, if you give, you've done the mitzvah. The rest of it, it's just extra.
This is Purim day. You can't do it at night.
You could only do it during the day. That's correct. Only do it during the day, and also you have to make sure that it is in that person's respect. Someone who's a very respectable person, important. You're not gonna take it like a thing of cookies. This is for you. You gotta give him something that's for his honor and respect. It is better to send both the foods at the same time. You can't send something in the morning and say, oh yeah, by the way, the rest of it is coming in the mail in the afternoon. You can't do that, right? And if a person mailed it before Purim, then he should get there on Purim. Some people say no, it's mishloach manot. You have to do it. They have to do the sending also on that day. So you understand that the sending also should be on that day. So some people say therefore the person shouldn't ship it before, unless again you're doing it just out of respect to give it to that person, and then you're gonna do the mitzvah anyways by giving it to one person. That is fine.
Another question?
Yes.
You're allowed to work, go to work on Purim?
It says that a person could go to work, but he does not see much beracha from that work that he does on Purim.
Who says that?
It says it's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch.
Just to know the source.
No, I think the Shulchan Aruch brings it. It says "Eino ro'eh siman beracha."
Okay.
But from not that chas v'shalom to no beracha, but that's where it is.
What if you have to work half day?
You gotta go. You lose your job, chas v'shalom, or it's gonna be different. Then definitely a person should. My wife goes a lot of times. Yeah, most of the time she goes. Pharmacy, you can't just let go. Now, that it says that women should send for women. Men should send for men, and women should send for women. And also the person that receives the Mishlach Manot should know who is sending it, who gave it. The write on it, from us to you, they should see where it's coming from. Otherwise, we miss the whole point. You're trying to create ahava, and it doesn't create it. Who gave it to me? Where did that come from? The person doesn't know. So what if the person says, I don't accept? You take him Mishlach Manot and says, no, I don't accept the Mishlach Manot. What happens then?
It's not.
That's still good.
You send it to
Really?
someone. Yeah, send it to someone
But
else.
it's on their end. They didn't want to
He
accept
doesn't
it.
want it. What can you do? Sorry.
Someone else.
Some say because it says mishloach manot, so you should send it. Don't take it yourself. Send it through a messenger, shaliach, right? It's not a must. It's not a must, but that's what they say that a person should do. Send it through someone else. When you have kids, Be'ezrat Hashem, it's so much easier. I tell you, it's awesome. Okay, the next mitzvah is matanot la'evyonim. That's gift to the poor. This gift to the poor, it could be anything. The mishloach manot, you can't say, I love that guy, I'm going to send him a book. It has to be food. It has to be cooked food. But with the matanot la'evyonim, it could be books, it could be money, you could give him $1 million check. Whatever it is, that's good. What is the minimum of matanot la'evyonim? First of all, the obligation is 2 gifts, right, to 2 people. That means 1 gift to each. You don't have to give 2 gifts to each. It's matanot, plural. Evyonim is plural. You give 1 gift to one ani, 1 gift to another ani, you're yotzei. How much should a person give? Rabbi always said it should be at least enough for a seudah, right? How much is a seudah? $5? $5 you get a good meal. So you should give $5 to one, $5 to the other, and you're yotzei. And you cannot use maaser money for this, right? You could use the extra. Let's say you give $10 already. You You gave the rabbi to give it to the aniyim, to disperse it to the poor. Give him $10 already. Now you want to add another $500. No problem. You could use that from maaser money. That's no problem. Okay. So, but the chiyuv, the obligation, you can't use maaser money for that.
You could give $10 to one person or no?
No. You could give $5 to one. But look, we usually don't disperse it to the aniyim. I don't know if you know any aniyim. That's something else. We usually give it to like different organizations. Hopefully, like one of them. But it has to be given to them, to the aniyim, on that day. The way they do it here in shul, they tell someone in Israel to give it out to aniyim, right? And then later they send him the money. Like hopefully they'll be able to gather those funds, which Baruch Hashem, they do gather, and that's what they do.
How much you said per person?
Enough for a meal. I say $5. It could be even less. I don't know how much is like a slice of pizza.
Each
And a
person
Coke,
has to
whatever.
give like five. Each person $5.
No, you need to give
$10.
2 people, right? Each 5. Right? You need to feed two.
Each
Doesn't
person
have to
has to feed
feed-
2 people, so
Right.
$10 per person. Per person that's giving it out.
Exactly, right. So that's matanot la'evyonim. Rambam writes that a person should try rather give more matanot la'evyonim than shlach manot. Right? Shlach also is an important mitzvah. It creates a good atmosphere and everything. But definitely a person should put his investment for the poor. Like they're looking for this. The Rambam writes that this is the day that they're looking for these charities, for this help. And as a person should, if they can, do it.
When you say, when you say per person giving it out, that's like an adult, not like children don't count as giving.
Right, but children also should be trained.
Should be trained.
Right.
So like if your husband gives for you and your children, then you're okay. You
You're
don't
done.
have to.
Yes, right. That's usually what people do. The husband usually gives for himself, for his wife, and his children enough, and then if he wants to add more, Baruch Hashem, why not? The more the better.
You could give to like one person in the family and hope they'll give it to the other people in the family.
What do you mean?
Like to a brother, but like the mother needs it and the sister needs it too, like the money. You should give.
Well, yeah, for sure. That would work. I mean, you have to tell him though. You can't assume he's gonna assume that it's for him. He's gonna gobble the whole thing up. Now, the last thing that remains is a seudah. Is a seudah of Purim. Kabbalistically, when do they eat the seudah? In the morning. The seudah, because the earlier the better. It's a mitzvah, one of the mitzvot of Purim. So right away they give Mishloach Manot, they give Matanot Levyonim, and they sit down, and have a hefty breakfast, they drink a little bit, and then they go to sleep. That's it. They're done with the mitzvah of the seudah of Purim. But generally, people don't do that. People usually wait. They say mincha, so that they won't be drunk by the time they won't miss mincha, and then they have it usually in the afternoon. But it's better. The earlier, the better. The earlier the person does it, the better. Because when it's night already, you're not doing the mitzvah of eating. When people start late, the mitzvah is to eat the seudah on Purim. So if they start later, you're just going into the night. The mitzvah is gone.
I saw in the Od Yosef Chai, I think that's the one. It says you should eat it later and go until the sunset or something. The sun.
It should be done before sunset.
Definitely should be done before sunset.
Like start it,
but to drag it into the maybe possible. It does. I've seen it that it's written that they should do it, but it makes sense that it should be done on Purim. Like the big chunk of it.
Do they get Hamazon? If let's say it goes through night, they can Hamazon still?
Yes,
Okay.
because you started the Seudah on Purim, you still say Alanisim, even if you did it like 2 hours into the night, which is usually the case. You have to sober up.
Most people start like in the afternoon, like they start like at 1, 2.
1, 2 is fine, but 4, 5 is a
No,
problem,
4, 5.
right? That's what I mean.
Wait, I'm the one that says at 5. What's the problem? Isn't sunset
It's not a
5:45?
problem. No. It's still okay. It's Yotzei. I'm saying it would be better. It would seem like you want the Seudah to be on Purim. Obviously, of course, if they do it as long as it's Purim, they're good. I know some people that are at work until 5, and then the 5 they're gonna come and eat the Seudah. That's what they do. Yeah.
Have 2 soda.
Why not? The more the merrier. You say more al anything. Now there is no really obligation to eat bread. The
Oh, really?
Seudah doesn't say that you should eat bread, but it's better to be machmir like those opinions that say that one should eat bread. And ladies are as well obligated for the Seudah. You can't say, oh, it's for men, like, no, ladies also have to eat. There's also a thing that they say it's better to eat meat as well in the Seudah. So there, Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to be Mekayim this mitzvah as perfect as we can. Let's say some halachot of Shabbat. So next week, right, as we mentioned before, there is no shiur, hopefully in 2 weeks' time. Right?
Are you gonna be going over Shabbat in 2 weeks, or you're gonna go talk about Pesach, or we did Pesach last year? I mean, I don't know if people changed from the last year. I don't know.
I don't think Halachot of Pesach changed since last year.
No. The people used to come, like the whole section.
Let's see. We'll discuss it. Maybe we'll discuss it with the bosses. Bosses aren't here, and see whatever everyone prefers. We'll do. I don't think for Pesach we need more than one shiur, right? But the last week, I don't think we're going to have a shiur. Everybody's busy, so we're going to have probably only 2 weeks, right? If I'm not mistaken. After Purim, right? We have Purim, and then probably only 2 weeks. That would
we have the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th, and then the first is 2 days before Pesach.
Okay, so forget the first. So we might have 3.
11th, 18th,
Okay.
and 20th.
All right, so we might have 3. Okay, maybe we'll have one Shabbat, and then 2 we'll dedicate Beline there for Pesach. Last year it was a long shiur. Everybody was falling asleep, so maybe we could cut it in half.
The
Or
Pesach.
something.
This is the first time everyone's finding out stuff that we
Who was
do
falling
on
asleep?
Pesach.
What?
We can't do.
Everybody was,
I don't
no?
remember people falling asleep.
I don't remember either.
There
They
you
all
go.
needed to know it.
We needed to know because everyone had a lot of questions. Like the
Yeah.
first time we're learning like
Right,
the
true.
Sephardi
Okay.
Right.
halachot.
So we'll see. We'll see
We were
what
all
happens.
doing too much.
So
Yeah.
Beline there after Purim we'll have one Shabbat, and then we'll take it from there. I just want to finish off the melacha of. I was hoping to start the melacha of boneh. Melacha of boneh is one of the most. It's not complicated, but there's a lot of things. So because of that, I wanted to get to it and start it, but it's fine. The last thing that we learned, if I remember correctly, in the halachot of the thing of mochek, erasing, was if a person wrote on his hands, right? And we said before Shabbat, obviously, right? And now on Shabbat, he has to be extra careful. When he's washing his hands, don't dry it, because drying would erase. We discussed this last week, right? The drying would erase what he wrote on the hands, and that's asur. So fine, don't wash your hands, or wash your hands, but don't dry. But what's he gonna do for the meals? For the meals, he has to use a lot of water, which we do anyways, and don't dry. He's still done the mitzvah. Don't dry. Let it drip dry, like air dry, and then eat. That would be fine, right? Because washing is not necessarily going to erase it, but drying would erase it more. Now, if there was just a ink or some dots on his hand from ink or whatever it was, or let's say it happened on Shabbat, they were removing the pod and somehow the bottom of the pod got black, and they didn't realize. Oh my gosh! The bottom, their hand is black. Can they wash it, or is this also considered erasing mochek? What's the answer?
They can
Considered cleaning your
Yeah,
hand.
it's not. You're allowed to do it and to dry it, and it's not considered mochek. Some people wanted to say, look, what's the difference between that? Over there you have letters, you have a little flower, there that you're erasing. That's a problem. But here with this is not a problem. And then we also said, what about on a paper there is some dirt. You want to clean it up. We don't say, oh, that's mochek. It's not a problem at all. A person could go ahead and do that. Someone asked about tattoos, right? Remember last week? Someone. All right, so that's fine.
Eyebrow too?
Eyebrows.
Did I get eyebrow tattoo?
What?
Why? Because cosmetic?
Yeah, it's cosmetic. It's not. You're not writing anything. The issur of tattoo is when a person writes or makes some. This is nothing. This is just like makeup. It seems from what I read from Rabbi Badi, it says that it goes away after like a couple of years. It does go away.
Eyebrow tattoo?
Yeah, eyebrow and the
They
lip.
do,
He
they do
wrote
eyebrow, they do eyeliner tattoo now.
Yes.
eyeliner.
eyeliner, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But he wrote about
liner.
the lipstick, but the same thing applies from the way he was writing it. The same thing applies to that, and he's right because it's not really permanent. It goes away. After a couple of years, it goes away. So therefore, it is allowed.
So the dirt on the paper is okay, but what if on your clothes?
On clothes, we already discussed what happens
forgot.
there.
I
So
know.
that you could, with your nails, you could scrape it. That's all you could do. Can't do more than that. You know, you can't wash it certainly,
Right.
and that would be a problem. Right.
I have a question about,
Yes.
you had mentioned about.
You want the question on record or?